welcome to this week's update. I hope that you and your families are well. And firstly, Ramadan Mubarak to all of those families who are participating in Ramadan this year. Obviously, we've got a lot of students in school who are fasting, both in primary and in secondary. We have the prayer rooms open. We've got those rooms for students to be able to pray should they want to. And we will support them through this period. And especially in primary, please do let us know if your child is fasting. That's really important, just so that we can keep an extra eye on them during this period. It doesn't seem 5 minutes ago, really, that we were in lockdown. And it's 3 years ago this week that the school went into lockdown, that society shut down, that we went into this period of pandemic that was terrifying for everyone. And the impact it's had on our community, on families, on loved ones, has been absolutely traumatic and has been massive, especially for our local families. There are too many deaths, there have been too many tragedies, unfortunately, and we're still coping that, we're still reeling from the after effects of that, and we're seeing that in school, we're seeing that in the community, we're seeing that in society, where we're still having these impacts. But it also made me reflect on, as a school, how far we've come, and it's been quite amazing, the work that has gone on with children in school and with staff in particular, pushing it forward and making sure that your children get such a fantastic deal. All of the trips and enrichment that have gone on, the hours to planning those trips to make sure your children have got those experiences they didn't have during COVID, is been really, really important. We've done so much work around the curriculum, and it's transformed the school now that we've got a curriculum that runs from reception, the age of 4, all the way up into year 11, the age of 16. We're one of the only schools in the country to have done that, and we are getting national recognition and even international recognition. Again, this week we're in the House of Lords. We were invited down to the House of Lords to talk about our curriculum and what we're doing as a school, and we're getting more and more people from around the country coming to have a look at us. In April, we've got 24 different trusts coming to have a look at what we do as a school. So it is really amazing what we have achieved, and the fact that we've got national recognition for our Oracy programme. We lead on teacher development across West Yorkshire for new teachers, leadership development across West Yorkshire. We've been asked to train new teachers up next year. We've got this Investors in People, how we treat the culture, has been recognised as one of the best schools in the country, which is why we were nominated Platinum. And that's all that's happened in the last 3 years. So it's quite incredible what the school has achieved, what your children get up to day in, day out. The standards, the quality, the kindness, the values that they have are really, really impressive. And I just wanted to thank all of you. I know it's been an awful period. I know that we're still coming out of it. But thank you very much. And I think just on this bit, just to end with that, you know, the warmth and the joy that we get from the community kitchen and all of the community projects, that wouldn't have happened without COVID, and how we've come together far more closely as a community is something that I'm really, really proud of. So I just wanted to recognise the journey that we've been on and thank everyone for their part to play in that. So just again, thank you very much for all the support that you've shown the school during strikes. It's really nice to see that you understand why staff are striking and why it's so important for us to take a stand about school funding. It really is having an impact on our school and your children, and that fundamentally is where it comes from. Money is being taken away from educational provision, or not provided I should say, because we're not able to do all of the things that we want to do, and we've got some amazing plans for the next few years that we are thinking about at the moment, and I really hope that we get the funding for that. At the moment there has been, the government and the unions are in talks. They've been in talks for over a week. I think there's another week before hopefully we get an announcement, and fingers crossed the government will find that funding for education. It is so, so important that they do, and I appreciate all of the support, and I'm really proud of the staff who have gone on strike, who have stood up for what they believe in to represent themselves and also your children. It's been really, really powerful, that, so thank you very much for it. Obviously, whilst we're on funding, it's not something I talk about very often with people. You know, it's part of my job is to manage the school budget and make sure that we're able to obviously pay everyone, provide all the educational facilities, and that's getting harder and harder with the current climate that it's in. And one of the things the school gets funding for is free school meals. Now, you may be aware of that. About that situation. We get additional funding for students on free school meals, and so this is a plea to all of you out there. Could you see whether or not you're able to apply and eligible for them? I think there are more families out there who are eligible for free school meals than we currently have. We've sent a letter out. We'll send it out again this week. But please do have a look at that. Fill it in. The worst that happens is we don't get anything and you don't get anything. But actually, that could really have an impact on our funding. So we'll send it out again. And if you do want any advice or support filling that in, then please do let us know with that. And finally, for this first bit, we are looking at how we engage with parents more and parents' voice. I've got a few ideas coming up about what I want to do to have some more parent forums, an ability to be able to get that your voice heard into school, and understanding. I mean, obviously Miss Sadiq already holds her drop-in mornings. We've got loads going on in primary, but how else can we do that is something that we're looking at. And to get you more involved so you've got a better understanding of what we're doing in school. I think it's really hard as a parent, especially in secondary, to quite get into school. Quite often your child comes home, you ask them how their day is, they grunt at you, they walk upstairs and they go on their PS5 or whatever it is. Well, that's what happens in my household anyway. So I know that trying to give you more information is something that's really, really important to us. So I'm going to split into the specific groups now, and I hope that everybody has a good weekend. Take care, everyone. To the secondary part of this video, firstly just want to say well done to the year 11s. They've had an absolutely, and year 10s actually, a really fantastic exam season. They've done really well. They were absolutely fantastic during the exams. Now we are coming up to, obviously we're in the middle of Ramadan, or not the middle, sorry, at the beginning of Ramadan. Now Ramadan obviously is going to go over up until the end of the Easter holidays, but it's really important that we support students and your children to revise, especially if they've got exams this year in year 10 and year 11. And we know that they want to sleep in. We know that in the holidays in particular they find it difficult, but if you could really support them revising, making sure they're doing 2 or 3 hours a day. We're going to do some work on revision timetables in school. We're going to make sure that we give them as much support as possible. In the second week of the Easter holidays, the week before Eid, we are going to be open as a school to make sure that we can do some extra revision sessions with your children. But if you could support us making sure that they are doing revision in the Easter holidays, if you've got a child in year 10 or year 11, then it's the best opportunity for them to succeed, and hopefully that they will do really well with that. So thank you very much, and as I say, if you want any help with that or you need any support with revision, then please do get in contact with us and we will do as much as we can to support you. Second thing then, it's just again around mobile phones and social media. It's an ongoing thing. We know that children have them. We know that children use them. We also know that cyberbullying happens. Unfortunately, children can be incredibly unkind over social media. And I would say 99% of the issues don't start in school. They start outside of school. They start at home. They start in the evenings where people are sending messages, and then it kicks something off in school where it becomes face-to-face. So all the support that you can provide us with that. Talk to your children around how they use social media. Check it. Make sure you've got their passwords. Make sure they understand that actually they need to be 13 to have a social media account. And it's really important. And then again, think about what they're sharing, how they're sharing it, what they're saying and to whom, because it can be incredibly hurtful. So the more you're involved with that, the easier it is and the calmer and kinder it will be for those one-off incidents that we have, the very few incidents we have, but often, too often unfortunately, they're based around social media. And then just, I know that there's been a bit of frustration around trying to contact school. Quite often I get people phoning up saying they want to speak to myself. Now, as much as I would love to speak with all of you, we've got 1,400 children in the Halifax Academy, and it's not always appropriate to come straight to me. We've got lots of different layers in place. We've got lots of different staff who can help you. Who've got year managers, we've got phase leaders, we have got directors of subject, we've got assistant heads. So we've got lots and lots of different layers. So please don't think if you can't get through to me, it's because I'm ignoring you. It's just because I might not be the appropriate person to speak to at that first instance. Obviously, if you're not happy, then that's where I get involved, but not at the first layer. And we'll be sending more information about how you can communicate with school over the next few weeks. So please do look out for that. And on that, finally, is just how we treat each other. And we've had quite a few incidents recently where people have been incredibly unkind over the phone or in person, and they've been really rude, if I'm quite honest. It's not something I feel comfortable talking about, but sometimes staff in the office or staff in school have they've just been sworn at down the phone by a parent, by someone phoning in. And I understand the frustration. I understand that sometimes it's difficult, especially when it's your child. You know, I've got 3 children in school myself, and they're my most pride and joys. And so you want to get that information and want to make sure they're okay. But please make sure it's done with kindness. Make sure it's done with respect. It just makes it easier for everyone, and we can get things sorted quicker that way, rather than having to put up with the abuse. And some staff have, and I've heard it myself, I've been there when some people have been shouted at down the phone, sworn at down the phone, threatened down the phone. Really not acceptable. And it's very, very rare. Very, very surprising when it does happen, but I did just want to mention it. So that's it from me. I hope that it goes well, and I will speak to you again in a couple or next week's time. Take care, everyone.